Stampers, Kim from stampingimperfection.com. Welcome to my craft room. I wanted to share a journal project. It's that time of the year, beginning of a new year, where we all find ourselves setting resolutions or setting new goals for ourselves, or maybe you've committed to developing some good habits. And one habit that I have that I feel like is a really good habit is that I have not a to-do list, but a goal list, and I like to jot down thoughts and ideas as they come into my head. So I always have journals with me or little notebooks, and I shared this one during my 10 days of Thanksgiving projects, which you can check out. You can find the video here on my YouTube channel, or you can check out online at stampingimperfection.com. So I love these little grid journals, these little craft journals that Stampin' Up! Sells. Like, this is a perfect size to tuck in a bag or a pocket or something. So I have that, but I wanted to show you another one. I bought a set of 4 notebooks a while ago at Office Max. They come in an assortment of colors. This is, I guess, someone's idea of an assortment. But anyways, I'm going to take one of these and I'm going to decorate this because this is super boring. I usually just decorate the front when I have a plain back like this because the back is pretty sturdy, and I might be able to protect one side of this in a tote bag or a purse, but not 2 sides. So what I did was I measured the front of this, and I measured just up below the holes. So the front of this measures 7 3/4 by 4, so it's 4 inches wide and 7 3/4. So I cut a piece of cardstock, and we don't have a green. Stampin' Up! Doesn't have a green to match this. So what I did was I pulled out a piece of scrap Designer Series paper. I believe this is the Park Lane paper. This is the Park Lane Designer Series paper. I happen to love this pattern because it's very colorful. And Old Olive happens to be one of the colors in it. Now, ordinarily I would try to match the color of the notebook, but like I said, I don't have anything that color, so I just picked paper that I loved and I pulled a color from that. So I cut this at 4 by 7 3/4, the measurement of my front. Then I got 2 pieces of patterned paper, and I made these 2 1/4 by 3 3/4 so that when I put them on, it'll have that border, that Old Olive border around it. So I'm going to put one at the top and one at the bottom, and I want to leave about 1/4 of an inch between, so I cut a piece of Whisper White at 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. Now with this journal, on the inside of the journal, I'm going to use some of Stampin' Up's Project Life stamp sets, because this is kind of going to be a planner journal, and the day-to-day stamp set has the days of the week, it has months, it has little check boxes with the months, it's got seasons, you know, it's got a calendar that you can use, kind of a general calendar that you can tuck in. So this is pretty fabulous if you want to have the month and the day in there, which I do. I'll probably just stamp out a few things for January just to start with, and maybe a few pages for February. But then I have the Project Life Remember This stamp set, and I like this because it's got daily routine this week, adventure bound, a day to remember, remember this. Like, these are actually going to be perfect for inside my journal. And I also have stamp sets that I love that I'm going to use, and like, I love the ones with really beautiful sentiments on it. The Feels Good stamp set, like, I will stamp inspirational things inside my book, and I will also print them out. If I find something like on Pinterest or something that I found inspiring, I will resize it in Photoshop and print it out on my printer with cardstock, and then glue it into my journal. And then I'm going to use the Kind of Eclectic. I know that I feel like every journal I make, I use the Kind of Eclectic, but I love it. I also love this Ray of Sunshine. The sentiments on this are just wonderful, and this face is just perfect. So for this one, I'm actually going to start with the Kind of Eclectic. One of the colors in the stamp set is Daffodil Delight, so I definitely want to add my sunshine because sunshine is everything. So I'm just going to stamp this on. And I could mask that sun if I wanted to, but I don't really want to. I'm going to take Old Olive. Now that's a matter of preference. I don't want to make this difficult. I want to make a journal that I can start using tomorrow or tonight even. Oops, I'm just going to stamp this twice, and I'm going to stamp without re-inking, so that one's a little bit lighter. That's Old Olive. Now I'm going to take Blackberry Bliss with the Feel Goods. The Feel Good sayings, and I'm going to stamp this, hopefully this is fairly straight, in Blackberry Bliss. Close enough. And now I'll take my glue. Now for me, you'll notice if you watch my videos and stuff, you'll notice that, actually I don't like this, I'm going to redo this. You'll notice that I always use glue, and I use glue because I found that if, you know, I like to make, when I make a card, I make a bunch of cards at one time, and I have a stash of cards on hand at all times. And I find that sometimes when I go back to my stash, if I've used snail, especially if the season has changed, it might not be sticking anymore. So I find for me, this glue works really well. Like this sticks. Snail is so convenient, and it's much less messy. It's a little bit more expensive, so if you live in a climate where that works, lucky you. But you use whatever adhesive you love. And again, I want to center my sentiment actually a little better than I did there. I decided, ooh, much better. Love that. Okay, so that's much better. So I'm going to stick this on also with my glue. Now notice that I started on the outsides, and I find it easier to actually get this white piece centered once I've started on the outsides. If you're really fussy about it, I mean, I work on grid paper mostly to soak up the ink, but it is nice to have that grid paper there to make your measurements, especially if you're a perfectionist. If you're a perfectionist, then you definitely want to pay attention to, you know, the measuring details, and I'm not a perfectionist, so I don't worry about that kind of stuff. I do really love baker's twine, so I wanted to add a little baker's twine, and notice that I'm doing this before I attach the cardstock to the card. I'm just going to tie this in a bow, and I will knot my bow so it has some hope of staying. And one other touch I want to add to the front, I really want to add one of these. I really like these heart clips, and these are basic hodgepodge clips, and I'm going to add this with a couple of glue dots. I want the whole clip to show, and I'm just going to put it down here on the bottom in case I have anything I find that I just need to quickly clip and hang on to. I may put one of these on the inside of the cover also. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to like roll this with my paper piercer, and then I'm going to place a couple of them, and I'm going to place them right along the clip like that, so when you turn it over you won't be able to see it very well, and hopefully it won't be too sticky. It won't like stick itself to things, hopefully. I'll smudge my finger around the top of it when I get it on there, just to make sure. So I'll put one on the side down here. So I'm really rolling that up. And I'm going to stick that down here. Just like that, and if you rub your finger on the top of that, it's what's sticking out. It loses its stickiness. So then I have a clip on the top of that. Now I'm going to go ahead and again glue this to the top. You could use the two-sided sticky tape, but again, I find that the glue is going to work great for me for this project, and it's just like I craft every day, and I probably go through 2 of these glues a month. I use it every day on multiple projects a day, and it works out pretty well. Okay, so especially if you give it all a good press. Okay, so that's the top of my notebook. Now on the inside, just to get myself started, I would like to take a few of these things, oops, from the day-to-day. I'm going to take the January, and I'm going to stamp January on the front page. And then when February gets here, I will stamp February on the next page that I get to when February gets here. And I don't even care if this is straight. This is not going to be a fussy journal. So I can just stamp January, so I can kind of keep track of the months. And I want to take now this, remember this. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to take a piece of washi tape, any washi tape that you have. The washi tape throughout here because I love it. And I might even use washi tape to create some tabs on the outside. You know, you can make a tab like this, and you can write on washi tape, and believe it or not, you can color washi tape with blendabilities also. If you want to add a little color, like if you take this washi tape and color in the white parts, like if you just actually color right over the top of it, the black will show through and you won't even, it's really pretty. It's actually really pretty. You just need to give it a few minutes to dry. So I have a tab I can use to mark January, and then from the remember this, I want to type in, I want to type in this week. And then I can use this to, where is it? This week up here. I like that there are lots of different fonts in this set because I think that's actually super fun. Now I could vary the color of ink if I wanted to, but since I have the Blackberry Bliss open and it is one of my favorite colors, I'll just stamp this in here. And then another thing I want to add, I'm going to just flip a couple of pages, or actually maybe the next page, and I'm taking this from the Ray of Sunshine. There's this quote that I've used on a couple of cards lately that I really like. I'm just going to stamp this down here, and then when I get to this page, this says, "Keep your face always toward the sunshine, and the shadows will fall behind you." So I'm just, going to sprinkle some inspirational quotes throughout, and I might do that tomorrow or later this evening, just because when I get to that page, then I have that inspirational quote, and I'll add quotes and things like that as I get to them. So that gives me a place to start making my list of appointments or my list of things I need to make sure I get done before the end of the week, and then I can move on to the next page and do whatever I want. And I can color code this with different kinds of washi tape. It's like if I have, specific like doctor's appointments for different people or something like that that I need to keep track of, or specific events, like you can just use the washi tape, and don't forget you can write on that washi tape. So there you go. Thanks for watching. Stop on my blog at stampingimperfection.com. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for more ideas, tips, and tricks, and make sure you like this video and share with a friend. Thanks for watching.